What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys for tuning in today. So I apologize that I delayed doing this video because I wanted to do it yesterday and the day before, and I ended up coming up with ideas with different videos. So, I apologize, but it's an important video because, like I said, it's in response to Spinks for Integrity. It's in response to two videos that he did. Okay. First and foremost, I want to touch on a comment that he made in one of my videos. He said, I did a video on the youth, and he said, each one teach one, which is a really, really good point, and a lot of parents don't do that. Okay, a lot of parents just want their kids out of the house, want to get rid of them just so they can chill and do what they need to do. Not failing to realize that your child needs that knowledge, that structure, that advice drilled into their head at a young age. If you don't start them at a young age, teaching them right from wrong, the consequences of certain things, like, they're going to steer wrong. And I'm not saying that your child is going to be perfect if you do that. There is still mistakes that they're going to make, but if you put it into their head at a younger age, all the way up until they are almost an adult, you're going to know that you did your job right. Are there going to be times when they are going to steer away and, peer pressure and hanging out with different, crowds and things like that? That's one thing that, you kind of have to let them learn on their own. But if you teach them, just say, hey, look, you touch that stove, it's hot, you're going to get burned. If you go hang out at this club all night and it gets raided 9 times out of 10, you could be in trouble. Like, different things like that. Drilling it into their head, even if they're a teenager, even if they're, I would say 13, 14 up, start really talking to them about the consequences of hanging out with the wrong crowd, the consequences of, doing things under peer pressure and things like that. Like, we have to teach our youth young. I'm not saying they're going to be perfect. I didn't have really strict parents, but like, I knew, hey, look, when I was in school, it was homework, we ate dinner, I was out for a little bit. When the street lights came on, I was in the house. Okay, as I got a little bit older, I still had that in my head of them telling me right from wrong and things like that. And yes, I have made plenty of mistakes, but you learn from them. And the good thing is they weren't very bad mistakes to where I was in a lot of trouble. I didn't do jail time. Like, like the biggest thing that I did was I drank underage. I smoked and marijuana, and I smoked, cigarettes and stuff like that without them knowing. But like, I didn't drive under the influence, like things like that when I was younger. I did get my license when I was 16, but I never ever when I went out, I never drank and drive. Like, that was a thing, like, that stuck in my head because, my sister was in a bad car accident from that, and it's on the main bridge that we have here that somebody slammed into the back of her, and it was raining, and it spun her car around, and she got thrown from the car and was laying in the middle of the bridge. So it's not something that you want to play with the drinking and driving. I know people still do it, but it's not worth it. If you can't go somewhere whenever you're sober, then you just don't go. Another thing, like, my brother has went through that, with being under the influence and getting in trouble and things like that. Like, I'm not going to get in too deep with it because it's personal, but like I said, you want to drill it into their head at a young age. And the more that you drill it into their head, the more you keep telling them and keep telling them. I know kids, I know that it's going to be irritating, but think about it when you get older, how well it worked out for you, and how you will be doing the same thing with your children if you have children. You'll be doing the same thing because you want to protect them. You want them to be on the right path. And like Spinks and his wife had said, you want your children to do better than what you did. And, I haven't done bad, but I still would want my children to be better and to do better than me. And just like, and it'll pass it forward, like their children, they'll want them to do better than them. So that's just one of the things I want. It is true, each one teach one. You do have to get in their heads. You do have to irritate them, so to speak. And it's nothing wrong with that. I was always taught like, oh, you don't let your kids hang out, you don't let your kids do this, you don't let your kids do that. No, I don't. Because when I do, and something goes on, and something happens, like, it's gonna be my fault because I let it happen. So, did I shelter them? No, but they were homebodies. Like, they didn't care to be out there. So, I'm fine with that. And they turned out to be very well. So, I'm proud of each and every one of them. But anyway, so the next one is, he made a comment, and it was funny because when I was watching it, I couldn't help but laugh. And his wife said that he and his wife said that their daughter asked them about having a party at the house while they were gone. And he was like, oh, hell no. Like, no. What? I'm gonna let you have a party when I'm not home. How dumb does that sound? I wouldn't even want you to have a party when I am home, let alone whenever I'm not home. If it's a birthday party, having a couple friends over, that's different. But just a party? No. 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 Like, no. But it was just funny because he was saying about how, when you try to talk to your kids, regardless of what age they are, it's like, as soon as you be like, hey, can I talk to you? They'd be like, what? Like, I'm doing something. Like, they always have to make up an excuse like they're doing something. And then they walk away, and then like a minute later you go over to them and they're just like this. I'm like, I thought you had something to do. I do. No, you don't. You don't have nothing to do. You were just avoiding the conversation. Like, it's important. It's not like I'm talking for my health. Like, no. But anyway, so the last one that I was talking about with him and his wife was the Carnival cruise. Like, to me, that was really, really dumb that they overbooked and charged less. Like, to me, like, that's a red flag right there. Like, anybody, yes, wants a good deal, but it would have, like, put my little spidey sense up, and I would have been like, something don't seem right that it's this cheap for a Carnival cruise. And then when you get there, it's overbooked. Like, there's too many people on the boat. So what if something did happen? What if they had to evacuate the boat? Now, they have lifeboats, but they're only to fit the max capacity. So if they're only meant to fit, say, 1,900 people on the boat, and there's like 3,000 people on the boat, then what do you do? Because you can only fit so many people in the boats. Because then that's like compromising that lifeboat. Like, you can't fit 7,000 people on a small lifeboat. You can't fit 500 people on a lifeboat. It only fits so many people per boat to fill up the max that is on that cruise ship. And then on top of it, people will be drunk as hell, so which starts fights. They're giving free liquor. And this is crazy because I watched a documentary yesterday about the Carnival Triumph. They called it the poop cruise. And like, it was funny, but then it was crazy at the same time, because I don't know how I would have handled the situation. Like, they gave them red bags to go to the bathroom in. They had it number 1 and number 2. Number 1, you pee in the shower. And number 2, you go into these red biohazard bags, you tie it up, and you put it in these bins. And these people were like, nope, nope. And they were on there for 10 days. The first 2 days, they went from Texas to Mexico. So that was 2 days. They partied there. Then they rode the boat a day back. But on their way back, partway through, is when everything shut down. There was a fire in the engine room, and everything shut down. The septic system wasn't working. Like, cell phones weren't working. Like, there was no lights. Like, all it was little backup lights. So it was kind of crazy. And then, like, the dude said, oh, we only put out what the media wants to hear. We don't want to give too much information. Well, it ended up leaking out anyway, and the guy was really, really mad. And he was like, this is not what we wanted. Because they were like reporters and everything going out there. And when the ship finally docked, there was so many people, so many news reporters, the families and friends of everybody that was on that cruise was out there. And like, the guy was so upset that it got leaked, that all of this stuff happened. Like, there was no bathrooms, like nothing that nobody could use. Like, they had no cooked food. Like, they were eating like onion and tomato sandwiches and like anything that they could do that was non-perishable, that they didn't have to actually cook, because they didn't have the means to do that. So yeah, so thank you, Spinx, for the videos that you guys do, because it gives me the motivation to not only just respond to your videos, but for me to come up with ideas of my own. So thank you guys, to you and your wife. I love watching your videos, and I hope to maybe one day do a meetup, because it would be amazing. So give this video a big thumbs up, comment below, let me know what you guys think of the video. Y'all go subscribe to Spinx for Integrity. He has the most awesome channel. No, it is hot. He has the most awesome channel. He talks about some very, very, very important things. And these lantern bugs are annoying. They are coming back, and they're not as bad as what they used to be. Like 2 years ago, it was like swarms and I'm everywhere. Now it's just like, you might see like 10, 15 here and there, but nothing too bad. So thank God for that, because they're just annoying. And I heard that they bite, so they better stay away from me. They start out as little tiny black and white bugs, and they move fast. And then they go into the red and white, and then they go into like this grayish and red kind of wings. They don't fly, they just kind of like hop to their next destination, and it's crazy. I'm gonna have to get a video of one of them close up and show y'all. But like, I did have one, but I deleted it, and this dude was running really, really fast. Like, his legs were moving so fast, it was funny. So yeah. So anyway, make sure you guys subscribe to Spinx for Integrity, and also subscribe to my channel. My Cash App will be in the description below. If you guys don't mind donating to the channel, I would greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys in the next video. Make sure you stay tuned, because my next video is going to be another one of Spinx videos. I'm sorry, y'all. Like, I'm feeding off of his energy, because it's amazing. Talking about when people are around you too much, like, it's something up. Like, just make sure y'all stay tuned, because it's important. Because I've had it happen so many times. So make sure you guys stay tuned, and I will see you guys in the next video.